Hello, and thank you for joining us for worship online as a community for the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Clemson. I'm Reverend Christina Branham Martin, the interim minister here at the fellowship, and what follows will be our welcome and announcements from our worship associate, and then our worship service will begin. So gather your chalice at home, a candle, anything that you have that can help represent the ritual of lighting the chalice together in community. Thank you for being with us today.
Good morning. It's good to be here and to be with you. I'm Petra Baer, and I'm a member of the UU Fellowship of Clemson Worship Associate Team. Each week, this community comes together to participate in worship, music, and reflection. This is where we seek to have our hearts opened and our imaginations fired. This is a place that reminds us that we are deeply connected to one another and all living things. Even though our building is closed, we gather together for weekly online worship. At 11:30 a.m. on Sunday mornings, we also gather for social connection and the sharing of joys and concerns in our Zoom meeting. Please join us. If you're joining us for the first time this morning, welcome. This fellowship is a religious community grounded in the heritage and principles of Unitarian Universalism. We seek to create loving community, inspire joy and spiritual growth, and support courageous action. All are welcome, regardless of religious background, political persuasion, ethnicity, age, ability, sexual orientation, or gender identity or expression. If you have a desire to explore questions of truth and meaning and are respectful of our diversity of people and beliefs, you've found kindred spirits here. If you'd like more information about this fellowship or Unitarian Universalism, please see information about us on our website, uufc.org. If you are interested in getting our weekly newsletter so you can get connected to our community for online social events, our weekly sharing of joys and concerns, and our collective efforts to support local justice work, please reach out to the office by the email on our website. Here are some announcements for the week. A Zoom meditation will be held tomorrow at 8 p.m., led by Jeannie Malmgren. UUFC is sponsoring this Wednesday's meal at our Daily Rest in Seneca. Please email our Daily Rest at uufc.org to get an update on what's needed. Join Reverend Christina for the Wednesday Zoom coffee hour starting at 2 p.m. Meet up with folks for the weekly Thursday bingo game at 6:30 p.m. The links for these gatherings can be found in the weekly connection. Next Sunday, April 25th, the bidding will begin for a one-week stay on beautiful Pawleys Island, South Carolina. Mike Cole and Jane McLamara's home is just steps away from the beach. Sleeps 10, has screened porches and on-property parking. The details can be found in the weekly connection, including pictures and bidding procedure. The Novel Circle has posted their 2 book choices. For Wednesday, May 5th, it's The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield, and for June 2nd, it's One Good Mama Bone by Bren McLean. The Circle meets via Zoom at 7:30 p.m. Kathy Crane seeks input to how best participate in the UUA's Common Read for 2021, titled Breathe, A Letter to My Sons. A short poll can be found in the weekly connection. And if you already haven't done so, please consider signing up for the upcoming two-part workshop being hosted by the Clemson Area Pledge to End Racism. This important local area social justice initiative is a unique experience at a critical time in our pursuit of racial reconciliation and justice. The newsletter has more details and the registration link. Our opening words are by Reverend Maureen Killeran. Blessed is this ground on which we stand. Holy is this place. Holy are the places of memory, the places which have formed us, where we store the icons of success and shattered dreams and gather threads and pieces of what we would become. Holy are the places of memory. Holy are the places of the dream, the places over the rainbow, where all children are wanted and all people are fed, where colors are the source of celebration, and youth and age come to the table as one. Holy are the places of the dream. Holy are the places of change and pain, the places of our struggle, where the rivers of our lives run white and fast, and we hold on, and grow. Holy are the places of change and pain. Holy are the places of connection, the places where we risk ourselves, where hands, touch souls, touch minds, and in awareness still we change our lives. Holy are the places of connection. Holy are the places of becoming, the places of clear vision, where life and world are intertwined and we can see forever in this moment and give thanks. Holy are the places of becoming. Blessed is the ground on which we stand. Holy and whole-making is this place.
My name is Allie. My name is Serena. We gather together in spirit of love with justice as our guide. This is our chosen covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth of freedom, and care for one another.
Good morning. It's good to be with you all again. Have you ever outgrown something? Maybe it was a favorite shirt or jacket. Maybe it was a bike or a game that you no longer play. We all outgrow things in our lives because we all grow and change. The question I want to ask you today is, what do you do with those things when you outgrow them? Unfortunately, a lot of times the things that people outgrow just get thrown away, especially if they're broken or damaged. But sometimes that toy or piece of clothing might be in perfectly good shape, even if it's something we can't or don't use anymore. So, when we outgrow something like that, we might give it to someone else, like a younger sibling or a friend who could wear that jacket or ride that bike that's now too small for us. I think most of us have given things away like that. But sometimes we don't give those things directly to a person we know. Instead, we give them to an organization that will either give those things to a person in need or sell them to raise money to help people. Usually, when we give things away like that, we don't get to know where they end up. We don't know who plays with our old toys or reads our old books or wears that jacket we outgrew. But if you're like me, you might sometimes wonder about where those things we gave away are now and who might be enjoying them. When we do that, we might feel a bit like we're connected to that person, even if we don't know who they are or where they are. And that's what today's story is all about. Red Shoes, a Dazzling Journey. By Karen English, illustrated by Ebony Glenn. Red shoes dazzling, perched on a pedestal in the shop window as if on a throne. "I want those, Nana," Malika says to her grandmother as they pass the shop. "We'll see," Nana says with a wink. "Looks like you could use a new pair." Surprise! Red shoes nestled in a shoebox under tissue paper on the kitchen table. Nana smiles her secret smile. Malika laughs and slips them on quick, quick. Red shoes walking, click, clack, click, across the floor on Malika's feet. Swish, 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 around the living room. Click, clack, clack, down the hall. Then out the door and around the block Malika goes to show off her new red shoes. Carefully, carefully on the first day of school, Malika walks in big galoshes that hide her shoes from the rain. She wants to keep them dry when she jumps in puddles. Red shoes dancing on Daddy's feet when they go to Auntie's wedding in the fall. Red shoes kicking Cousin Jamal under the table at Nana's Christmas dinner as he tries to snitch Malika's buttery biscuit. Red shoes stomping home when Malika and her best friend Keisha have a fight. Malika is mad and sticks to it. Red shoes jumping double dutch at Keisha's birthday party after they make up. Then, oh no, red shoes pinching when Malika squeezes them on to wear to Nana's birthday dinner at a restaurant. "My shoes are too small," Malika says sadly, and all through dinner her red shoes don't let her forget that her feet have grown. Red shoes in the window at the resale shop where Nana and Malika have taken them to be resold so somebody else can enjoy them. Softly, softly, Malika says goodbye to her wonderful red shoes. They were her favorite shoes ever. Inazia spies the red shoes dazzling in the shop window. She knows just the little girl who will love them. Now they are squeezed into her luggage bound for Africa. Red shoes under Inazia's bench in the marketplace where she sells her clay pots. They are waiting for Amina, the little girl who fasted half the month of Ramadan, the girl who deserves a special gift. And here she comes at last, holding her mother's hand. Inazia smiles down at Amina. I promised you a gift, and here it is. Red shoes are passed to Amina's waiting hands. Thank you, Auntie, she says. They are so beautiful. Then later, red shoes riding on the trotro on Amina's lap. Back at home, Amina's little sister Halima rushes to see the gift for the girl who fasted half the month of Ramadan, because someday she hopes to do the same. Amina lets her try them on, but just for a little while. Halima will have them soon enough, when Amina's feet grow too big and Halima's feet grow big enough. Now the red shoes are tucked safely under the bed, waiting to be worn on very special days. Meanwhile, back on the other side of the ocean, Malika wonders, whatever happened to my beautiful red shoes? I wonder if someone is wearing them right now.
We now turn to the ritual of celebrating and sharing our joys and concerns. We light this first candle for those among us who are hurting, physically and emotionally. May we hold you in our hearts and reach out to you with our support. I light this next candle for the sorrow of ongoing violence perpetrated on the bodies of people of color. We weep with the parents of children lost this week. I light this next candle for the senseless death at the hands of those with guns. May we move towards a time when we no longer have to acknowledge the confusion and dismay of such events. I light this candle for the companionship of the animals that share our lives. They bring us so much love and joy over the years they are with us. And may this candle be a balm to the grief we carry when we have to say goodbye to them at the end of their lives. I light this final candle for the joys and concerns that are held silently in our hearts. What touches one of us touches all of us. We are grateful for these sacred connections that enable us to remember, to celebrate, to love, and to care.
Today's reading is by Marge Piercy, titled To Be of Use. The people I love the best jump into work head first, without dallying in the shallows, and swim off with sure strokes out of sight. They seem to become natives of that element, the black, sleek heads of seals bouncing like half-submerged balls. I love people who harness themselves, an ox to a heavy cart, who pull like water buffalo with massive patience, who strain in the mud and the muck to move things forward, who do what has to be done again and again. I want to be with people who submerge in the task, who go into the fields to harvest and work in a row and pass the bags along, who are not parlor generals and field deserters, but move in a common rhythm when the food must come in or the fire be put out. The work of the world is common as mud, botched. It smears the hands, crumbles to dust. But the thing worth doing well done has a shape that satisfies, clean and evident. Greek amphoras for wine or oil, Hopi vases that held corn are put in museums, but you know they were made to be used. The pitcher cries for water to carry, and a person for work that is real.
Good morning, Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. I am so excited about having this opportunity to share with you about my journey over the past 10 years. Of course, I'm not going to give you the whole 10 years, but just a lot of things that I've had the opportunity to learn along the way from folks that are hurting and folks that are disadvantaged and feeling stuck. And Kathy Crane and Reverend Christina asked me to speak to your congregation just to share a little bit, and I wanted to share with you specifically about the power of the human spirit and how we give or how we help our disadvantage affects us, our spirit, as well as it affects the recipient's spirit. And what I mean by that is all of us as humans, we have that internal chip, I'll call it, that wants to be needed or has to be needed or feels like we want to be needed. This is a universal feeling, I believe, that comes with us when we're here, when we're born. And when that happens, we tend to want to help in any way possible, of course, but we also want to help, I think, by impacting for the long term. But sometimes that doesn't work out that way because we're not sure how. And we're not sure that the other person, the recipient, wants us to do that. Meaning, when we're helping, are we putting a Band-Aid on the situation, or are we helping long term so that this person that we're helping in 5-10 years down the road could potentially be in a different spot, or are we helping for that one immediate need? There's something very, very powerful that I've learned through my mentorship and being mentored myself when I was in a certain situation, that I learned that there is a huge power in two-way exchange. So instead of me just giving to you when you're in need and not getting anything back, which we've always been taught that that's what we're supposed to do. We give, we don't expect to get back. That makes sense. But when it's a situation where someone is hurting and it's not an emergency, temporary situation, it's kind of an ongoing, consistent, they go forward, then backward, forward, backward, then are we really helping if we give without including the recipient in their solution? And what I mean by that is teaching, by helping them take some steps while we walk alongside them, can be more beneficial when someone is in a long-term rut. And that's something that has to be decided too. Is this person gonna be fine after I help them this time? I know sometimes we don't know that, but I think there's a history. There's a way to see what has been the track record of the person, so you know how to help them. There's some great books. One is called Toxic Charity, which some of you might have already read or heard about, and the other is When Helping Hurts. I recommend highly these two books because they've been eye-openers on how as a culture, as a human race, how the psyche works in terms of when someone hands someone something, right? It forces the other person to hold out their hand, and then sometimes they have to keep going back and holding out their hand because they weren't taught how to do something different. So I'm going to give you some quick history on my journey so that you know how Ripple of One was created. Ripple of One has been around for about 10 years, but just in the last 4 years, we were able to get full-time staff. So I always say we're really only 4 years old, because prior to that, it was more like a pilot, and it was me and another person and then several volunteers that got added on year by year up until that point. So when my husband and I moved here about 20 years ago, I was looking for a place to volunteer because I had a goal-setting project. This goal-setting project that I had created helps people to think higher beyond their current circumstance, how that we believe that we were put here, that God's put us here for a very specific reason, and that everyone, because we all have different DNA, what that means is that we all have a special gift, or we all have something very specific that's to us, that if we can share it or utilize it, then we're really all playing that part and teaching and learning what we're supposed to learn. So I desperately wanted to find a place to share this goal-setting project. Prior to moving here, I was in Chicago and in Phoenix, and I shared it with an abused women children's shelter for a few years and worked with the moms there in Chicago, and then in the homeless shelter in Phoenix, Arizona. And it was just a wonderful experience. I really just was enamored by the moms that I got the opportunity to work with. Were so incredibly strong. So when I was able to kind of get them to see a different perspective, that today does not equal tomorrow, your yesterday doesn't equal tomorrow, there's a whole new life here if we can figure out the plan and the choices that will need to be made. And I thought, wow, this is what it's about. This is what it's about. And they showed me what they were learning, showed me that this is so, so important for each and every one of us to come to the table with, knowing that just because we help someone doesn't mean that they can't be a part of that solution. When I moved here, when my husband and I moved here, there was no safe harbor and there was no Our Daily Rest. So because of that, I ended up at DSS. It was called Family Services. I saw the sign and I thought, oh, that might be a place I can volunteer. So I went there, and I offered the goal setting workshop on how to think higher. And they said, we've never done this before, but we'll give it a try. So that point forward, I taught that class, I call it a class, it was a 2 to 3 hour workshop, to folks that were between the ages of 18 and 55. Some had kids, some didn't. But what was interesting about this is that when I did this over the course of those few years, 5 years, I would always ask a question in the beginning of the class. And that question was, who here has a plan to move beyond government assistance? Because all the folks that were there had to go to this class for 6 weeks in order to have the checkoff list to continue to get government assistance subsidies. So when I would ask that question, I got crickets for 5 years. Now, occasionally there would be someone said, oh, I'd like to be this, or I might want to be this. There was no plan, though, set in motion, or that they could set in motion. So what was interesting is when we would work our 3 month, 6 month, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year goals, and at the end, the 5 year goals, they would all stand up, and each one would read where they're going to be in 5 years. And what was so awesome was that you could feel the energy, you could feel the synergy in the room, because they had a dream and it had never been put on paper. And when we worked that plan on how we were going to get there, all the baby steps that went into it, if you made X amount, how much you're going to have left over. If you make $12 and your rent is this, this, and this, we worked out a budget. We worked out everything from A to Z. What do you wear when you wake up in the morning 5 years from now? How old are your kids? What is your car like? Where are you living? It was so interesting to see that, a lot of these folks didn't know each other when they started the class, and they were proud to stand up and share where they were going to be in 5 years. In this process, I learned from overhearing some of the folks that were talking amongst themselves was that I heard one mom, she actually, not all of them had children, but this one mom said, I make more now, she whispered to the person next to her, I make more now than I would if I got that $12 an hour job. I thought, what is she talking about? And what she was talking about was, because of the way the system is set up, is if you are, I'll just give this quick example, if you are a mom, let's say I'm a mom of 3 kids and I make $8 an hour, I'm working at Wendy's or wherever, I have no support system, but I qualify for rent subsidy and I qualify for food, SNAP. It's called food stamps. It's called SNAP. We call it food stamps too. So I qualify for $500-ish, about $500 a month in food, and my rent's about $50, okay? Soon as I finally, let's say I get sick of it and I want to go just get a CNA degree or an associate degree at Tri-County Tech, and I do it. I make it. And it takes me a little while, but I get my first job. And my first job is $11 an hour, and I also have the possibility to move up. So I'm really excited about this job. I'm not stuck at the $8 an hour. Well, what happens the day I get my paycheck, my food stamps go from $500, and that could be ranging from 4 to 6, but I'm just giving you the ballpark. $500, almost to zero, and then my rent goes from $50 to about $450. So now I'm, around $800-ish in the hole, and I just worked my rear end off to try to get better. So what happened was I ended up being talked into going to mentor at Family Friends Mentoring Project at United Way, which is it's a retired program now, but it was the only adult mentoring project in the county. Sandra Pruitt, I don't know if any of you know her, but she was is an amazing person, but she was in charge of this program. She trained me. I started mentoring. I started taking on 1 mom, then 2 moms, and 3 moms, and I would go to their homes, and we would become friends. And I was again blown away by the courage, by the strength, and I felt like a wimp. I'd been through some tough stuff. I've had an abusive relationship in my past that I could not get out of. I went back probably 4 or 5 times. Almost, that was where I thought maybe my life would end. He threatened to kill me. I thought, this is it. I can't get out. I'm never getting out. Well, because of a mentor and because of someone helping me get out, I was able to. But that's, I believe, what's put this fire in me to share with people. Your life can look completely different by making different choices. So when I was able to become this mentor and work with all these great moms, knowing what they'd been through, I felt like, wow, they've got even more strength than I have, for sure. And working together with them, I realized that they were living for the day. What does that mean? Just living for the day. That means it was whatever it took. As soon as any money would come in their hands, it was out. And what that means is there was the common denominator between all the moms that I had the opportunity to mentor was none of them knew they had a reason for being on the earth, number one. Number two, the things that were in their apartment, the 60-inch flat screen TV, rented furniture, latest and greatest cell phone, whatever that was really interesting, because the thought was just, I want to have good stuff now around me because I'll never be able to get any better. I just gave that example of how if you are a parent, and I'm talking about single parents mostly, dad or mom, and you have no support system, it's really almost impossible to get over that bridge. So Ripple of One was born out of all of that journey of mentoring, and United Way actually gave us our start by letting us go under their EIN number, their tax ID, for a year to get donations. And what we started doing was matching our moms and dads when we had them. We don't have many dads that apply, but matching them every month. So if they would get rid of their cable and $60 now would be available to go in their savings, we would match that. And eventually they would get out of debt. They would create emergency savings. Their whole mentality started to shift through this process of mentorship plus incentives. So that's what Ripple of One does, is it's mentorship plus incentives, we say, equal success. It's those two going hand in hand, relationship and the power of two-way exchange and what that means, and allowing the other person to keep their dignity by not always having to keep coming back, because they can't get out of the rut. And it's way more than a Band-Aid. So what I'd like to do is take you on a quick tour at Ripple of One. I'm going to show you first where our kids are at, which is really interesting because we used to babysit the children while we would work with the parents. Then we changed that and started teaching the children exactly what the parents were learning. So when they come in, they have to do a lot of the same things that the parents have to do, and they earn Ripple bucks. But they learn that we're all here and we all are in this journey together, but there is a place for me. That's what they learn. I have a specific reason for being here, and it's not to continue to get unending assistance from the government or our churches. It is to step up and really utilize my gifts. So I'm going to switch over here real quick to take you on a quick tour of our little Ripplers, which is Generation Ripple, and I'll be back in just a minute.
All of our children, our little Ripplers, learn exactly what our parents do. They make goals every single week, and when they reach goals, they get Ripple bucks. But they also have to pay bills. So they spin a wheel, and whatever bill they have to pay a food bill, maybe an internet bill, maybe a rent bill. But it's all real life. So our little Ripplers are next generation, and they're doing amazing. Come here, let me show you what's going on.
Your savings.
Okay.
How much do you have?
I have $62.
$62. Okay. You ready to pay some bills? Let's go.
Please get money, not bills.
What do you have to do? You have to make your what payment? Your car payment. Okay, so you're gonna give me the 50. Okay. Let me give you your change. And now you can grab your checking. Why do I only have 20? Well, because you spent last time. We have to earn our money. You have $26 in your savings account.
Please don't have to pay.
Oh, looks like you had to line it on health insurance. $15, my girl. But you have enough, right? Because you saved your money. School lunch. Good job, girl. Elbow.
How much is this?
Two purples is $180.
Can I put it on my way?
Okay. That means that when you earn, you also have to save your money so you'll have enough to pay your bills.
It's a blue sticker.
All right, you have $106.
Yes, I can
That
get
means you're
this
putting down
drone.
$90.
Hold on. How much is that?
It's $180, so you have to put down $90. So you okay with that?
How many? You see this drone right here? I wanted a drone my whole life, and I finally have it in my hand.
Are we gonna make this a TV show?
Next week, I'm gonna come in here, earn some money, and buy it. This drone right here. Thank you.
Are they making up? They're filming with us a TV show?
Okay, there we go. So $30, girl. 30. Well, do you want to put it on layaway? That means that if you put your 20, that's $40. Good job. Okay, so
That's really cool.
27 and then 20.
So hopefully that gave you a little hint of behind the scenes of what goes on. There's a lot more. We actually started a mentorship program just for our youth. And it's going so well, especially our boys really need mentors because most of our participants are single moms, so the children don't have a father in the home. So we are really working hard to get through this COVID period of time where the mentor just comes and meets with them, talks to them, plays a game with them, just does life. They can't get into the schools yet, but that's where we're going with this. They're going to be going into the schools and having lunch with them. We partner with the Upstate Mentor Project, so we're really looking forward to that. So next, I'm going to give you a quick tour of our 90-day team meeting. And what that looks like, or why that happens, is when a participant comes on, the mom and her children, what happens is every 90 days we get everyone together. It's not all the other moms, but we get together for their financial coach, their mentor, the program director, and sometimes myself get together, and we just make sure that we're staying on track in those 90 days. Where are we at? What were our goals last time we met? And are we staying on track for this? It's a 2-year program. It can go 3 years if they apply for that tack on year, if they're just, on the cusp. But they have to have paid off all their debt, have an emergency savings of 3 months living wages or more. They have to have attended our financial literacy classes and have to have a stable job when they graduate. So far, we have 63 adults and children that have completely moved beyond government assistance in just the last 3.5 years. So I'm going to go ahead and send you over to our 90-day team meeting so you can get a sneak peek of what happens with that.
Every 90 days, our parents meet with their whole team just to help keep them on task. The kids go in one room, parents go in another, and we work with them. We give them rewards for reaching goals. It's a lot of fun. So let's see what's going on in here.
As far as financial, you've saved your $235 in the last 90 days?
She paid off like 3 of 4 credit cards or furniture debt. Yeah. Which card is it?
It's the Capital One card.
Capital One, okay.
Yeah.
What do you have in your wallet?
So you've paid off 3 dets?
Uh-huh.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
She sure did.
So how much money do you have in savings?
$470.
Times 2.
Oh yeah, times 2.
Because we're matching.
Yes.
Yes.
I had to think about that. Because we know that Connor is having surgery,
Yes.
trying to get him to understand that he can haul around on one foot would be good. Okay. Because that's kind of like the point. Hey, buddy. Connor. Hey, were you good? You ready to go? No? I kind of figured. Come on. Bye, guys.
Bye, Christy. Bye.
Great job on your savings goal.
Thank you.
Connor. Bye, Connor.
He's on set. $950, girl.
When I first applied for Ripple of One, I had to write an essay, and I referenced this quote: "Give a man a fish, and you'll feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, you'll feed him for a lifetime." I use that particular quote because that's what I want: self-sufficiency, the ability to take care of my kids and myself on my own.
I have gained financial knowledge. I've gained knowledge about parenting strategies, and I've gained knowledge about self-motivation because I used to just give up so easily. And now since I've been in the Ripple program, I've been motivated.
What about your triumph?
A triumph, well, I have maybe 3. Opening a checking and savings account without overdrafting.
There are things that I have struggled with for the last several years that this year has really, God's grace has filled those things in my life. So, and the grace that I have felt from other people when it comes to like what I'm going through. Signing up and actually attending school, I'm actually going. I didn't just sign up.
Because this year has been awesome. School has gone great. My kids are great. I have Ripple, my mentors. So everything's going great. So I've been very blessed.
Good grades, got 3 A's.
That's $75. Show her the money.
I want to thank you again for allowing me to be here and share. I really appreciate the opportunity, and I also hope that I get to see you in person at some point. And thank you again, Unitarian Universalist Fellowship.
Hello, my name is Kathy Crane. I've been a member of UUFC for coming on 30 years, and I like to say that this is my social justice home, among a reason for other homes. I'm going to start over. Hello, my name is Kathy Crane. I've been a member of UUFC for about 30 years, and I like to call this my social justice home. I enjoy doing activities of social justice with UUFC, but I'm here to tell you that Ripple of One did not enter my life through our fellowship. Have you ever been invited to a, quote, free meal at a restaurant in exchange for sitting through a presentation about something? Well, I have. A friend encouraged me to attend a meeting like this so she could get points for her insurance plan. Who wouldn't enjoy a meal at Paisano's? The meal was great. I thought it would be fine, but it wasn't, and I left thinking that I would never attend anything like that again. But I did. I received a letter inviting me to a free meal at Paisano's, at the Lighthouse Restaurant in Seneca. I'd never been there before and was intrigued, and the topic interested me as well. The letter was from Stephanie Enders, and she wanted to introduce Ripple of One to the community and look for support. My husband Gordon and I decided to attend. Now, I have not heard the words that Stephanie Enders has presented for our Sunday service just yet. But as you hear me now, I know that you have heard her. You have witnessed her passion, her determination, and her wisdom for this amazing program of empowerment. Gordon and I have been dedicated supporters of this excellent program since that meal at the Lighthouse and the introduction several years ago. We are so very proud of the relationship and trust that Ripple has created with their families. I worked as a public school educator in Oconee County for many years, working specifically with students having academic and behavioral struggles. Ripple of One sends us newsletters reporting the stories of participants and graduates who are lucky enough to benefit from the work of this organization. I have been delighted to see pictures of some favorite former students from earlier years in those newsletters who are now working to make their situation better. Now, Ripple of One is entering my life in a different way as one of the 4 current benevolences to which UUFC provides financial contributions. I'm very, very proud of this partnership and am delighted that you have now had the opportunity to meet Stephanie Enders through her talk this morning. Again, I'm quite proud of Stephanie Enders and her creativity to bring this good program to address the significant needs of our community. Take a look at the Ripple of One website, and you can see that this work honors our principles and purposes as Unitarian Universalists, the inherent worth and dignity of every person, justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. Stephanie Enders does not yet know this, but I have an idea to discuss with her about a possible partnership to utilize a UU curriculum with the Ripple of One participants. But we have to get through this pandemic first. So if you are interested and available to volunteer, you can find an application on the Ripple of One website. And on the UUFC website, you can choose the colorful donate button to make a financial contribution to Ripple of One. But what I really wanted to reflect with you today is my pride with this new partnership UUFC has developed with Ripple of One. May our work together result in increased opportunities for those who struggle and in creative, effective ways to meet these challenges. Let me end this reflection with, of course, the words of Margaret Mead. Never believe that a few caring people can't change the world, for indeed, that's all who ever have. Thank you for being with us this morning.
We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know we will. We are going, heaven knows where we are going. We know we're there, we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. we are going. Heaven knows where we are going. We know we're there, we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. We are going. Heaven knows where we are going. We'll know we're there. Oh yeah, yeah. 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 We'll know we're there.
We close this service today by extinguishing our chalice. And we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the fire of commitment, or the warmth of community. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Go in peace, my friends.